What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and we got to talk about Sheryl Swoopes some more, man, and Stephen A. Smith going nuclear on her. Now, Cheryl pulled up to a Spaces yesterday to talk everything Caitlin Clark, her perception in the media, and some of the things, some of the narratives she feel like has been spun about what she's been saying, especially after the clip went viral for her doing the Dallas Wings game, where she was supposed to do the Wings game, but had gotten quiet when Caitlyn was announced player of the week. And so people were like, man, she just hating. Then you go back to what she said on Gil's Arena, some of the other things she said. Caitlyn's been a bully. She broke the record in 6 games, but I had the record in 5 games. And so when you make comments like that and they start to pile on, you kind of are going to be viewed as a hater because it's time to say something good. Now, she said in that space, is to be fair, that she said good things on her Queen of the Courts podcast. But things that's been put out there, plastered everywhere, is you kind of talking down on Caitlyn, if I must say so myself, you hugging Angel Reese like she was your firstborn daughter after they got that one win against Caitlin Clark uh, in the Indiana Fever. And so that image too has added to the perception. Caitlyn didn't get that same kind of hug from you. Now, if you would have hugged her and then hugged Caitlyn, that'd been one thing. But it seems like you have a side in this, and people are. It's looking like you pretty much feeding it to the people that's making this a black white thing, in a lot of ways. I'm just saying the perception. You know your own intentions, but I'm just saying the series of events we've seen leads us to believe that. Um, but we're gonna listen to what Cheryl had to say. We're gonna listen to her voice from the spaces yesterday, and then we're going to listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say in response. But first, I'm going to show you a little piece of the Nancy Lieberman interview that really is the thing that kickstarted her to go join this spaces and really speak her piece. And I think this is what was best for her at this point. But let's peep it, man.
Known Cheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone, and I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four.
Right.
She didn't want to talk to me.
What he posted on his podcast. And I said, please bring me on your show. He didn't respond. I think he blocked me, which is cool. He didn't respond. But then yesterday, you go and bring Nancy Lieberman on your show. But let me clear up a couple of things. Because I was only contracted to do 7 games for the Dallas Wings. So everyone thinks that I was replaced for doing the Indiana Fever game, when the reality is last week I told a producer that I could not do the Indiana Fever game because of a prior commitment, but also because there's nothing I can say that's going to be right. Right. So as a commentator, an analyst, I got to be able to speak positive things, good things, but I also got to be able to critique, because I do that to everybody. They then said that I was silent for 50 seconds. Don't know who had the time to time that, but I was silent for 50 seconds on a game I did, Las Vegas Aces versus Dallas Wings, when it had nothing to do with Caitlin. So for people who don't know, I'm a color analyst, not play-by-play. So my play-by-play guy, Ron Thulin, he had a graphic. He was supposed to read the graphic. He read it, said Caitlin Clark was player of the week, and Nafisa Collier was player of the week. You're going to get a chance to see both of them. They're coming in town to play. That was it. That's what he was supposed to say. I was not supposed to comment, didn't have to comment. Now, if he would have said, Sheryl, what are your thoughts on Caitlin being player of the week? What are your thoughts on Nafisa being player of the week? And then if I don't respond, then that's a bad look. But that wasn't how that happened. So the other part of that is everyone's mad, or her people are mad that I didn't say anything about it when I wasn't supposed to, but yet didn't have an issue with me not saying anything about Nafisa Collier. But her saying on the Stephen A. Smith show yesterday that she was on her treadmill working out, I don't know if she was or not, because I'm not in the room with Nancy, but what I do know didn't happen was a phone call from her. Nancy Lieberman decided she was going to be upset that I said it was going to be an adjustment period for Caitlin, Angel, all the rookies, but in particular Caitlin, and that I didn't think she would come in the league and dominate right away. It's my opinion. So she got upset that I said that. So she decided she was going to go to Twitter, which is what people do. She was going to go to Twitter and try to call me out. And I don't have it, but it's somewhere out there in the universe where she actually posted, oh, why can't we just let them be great? Let me introduce you to Caitlin Clark. And so she had to go on and put all the stuff about what Caitlin had done, which is great. So don't say you called me to talk about that when you didn't. You posted that on Twitter, and then I responded to you. I texted you and said, Nancy, if you have something to say, call me, since we're supposed to be, quote, friends.
Right.
The other part is, so y'all said, well, she should apologize to that. So I sent messages to Caitlin, but now those messages are fake. They're not real. I didn't really send them. Because my thing is, I don't owe y'all anything. I don't owe y'all an apology. I reached out to Caitlin. We've had a great conversation, but now it's something else.
Platform you want to go on is Steve's show, but Steve, respond to that if you could.
Mitch, how long have y'all known me?
Long time.
A long time.
Let's think about this. Sheryl Swoopes went on the air and said I blocked her. Lies. She said she offered to come on my show and she texted me. Lies. Never happened. I had my team reach out, and on top of it all, there is video on my podcast before Nancy Lieberman ever came on when I said, Sheryl, this is my position. You are welcome to come on my podcast. If you want me to, I'll come on yours. It's not a problem. You're wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. Period. That's all I said. I didn't disrespect her. I didn't utter disrespectful words towards her. I just was saying it was a bad look. But let me tell you to say this to your audience, right in front of y'all. I back up from no one when it comes to my profession. I'm going to do my job. I covered the NBA, for crying out loud, for all of these years. We've seen superstars in terms of cachet far bigger, with far much more cachet than a Sheryl Swoopes who's been retired for years. You ain't seen me run from them, me blocking somebody, me not having them on my show. That is utterly ridiculous. Sheryl Swoopes, with the sound that you played, is lying through her damn teeth. There is no truth. Zero to what she just said. That is not true. I have not blocked her. Okay. A matter of fact, I was told she blocked me. And secondly, I did invite her on the show. And the video is right there on the Stephen A. Smith show before Nancy Lieberman came on with me telling Sheryl Swoopes, you were welcome to come on the show. It's a flat out lie.
So Stephen A. Smith responded to that, man, and I'm gonna say this about Sheryl Swoopes. I think she's a phenomenal player. I mean, forget what I think. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, she has the right to speak about the game of basketball. So her angle is very shocking uh, for people that love the game. It's just very shocking. You see Cynthia Cooper, everybody else embracing her, Maya Moore, everybody embracing Caitlin and Angel. You know, they embracing just the game and the pushing forward of the game. I remember getting a magazine when I was really young, and Sheryl Swoopes, I think she had like a signature shoe or something, and she had a big write up, and it was like, oh my God, who is this lady that's getting this big write up in this magazine? It was Sheryl Swoopes. Long time ago, man. It's like one of my first memories of her. I remember going to NBA City and seeing, like, putting my hand in her hand, and I'm 6'2". I can palm a basketball, all of that stuff. And her hand was bigger than mine, and it was kind of surreal, like that was my introduction in seeing like how special of athletes that these women are because her hands is bigger than mine. I'm 6'2". So, Sheryl Swoopes is a phenomenal player, and I have fond memories of her like from afar back then. But to see the angle she's took on this Caitlin Clark thing, it's not like Caitlin Clark has done anything. Now, if you sit around, you watch Dave Portnoy, some of those people too much, it can fuel you feeling a way about Caitlin. But Caitlin herself hasn't done anything. We can't let narratives be created by people who obviously have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? Her and Angel always, and this is my prediction with her and Angel. This thing that people are dragging out with this, I predict as the seasons go on, they probably be in the Olympics in LA in 2028. They probably tight friends by 2028. You know what I'm saying? Just because Angel's getting some of the hate too, and I think that's one of the things that's lost in all of this. Angel's eating too. See, Angel and Caitlyn gonna be fine. Their stories are tied in together forever. And Angel has a different demographic of marketing that she can tap into that Caitlyn can't. Caitlyn has her demographics of things she can tap into that Angel can't. But I'm saying all in all, they both see, this is what they're gonna realize as they get older. They're younger women now. They have created something for themselves for the next decade or so, and maybe even a lifetime. And so, yeah, it looks like beef on the surface and people taking sides, and I love it because it's good for the game. But those two sisters gonna be all right, financially, and they're gonna reap the rewards of their careers. Um, it seems like Sheryl Swoopes is bitter though towards just Caitlyn. You look at the Nike deal she got, was it 28 million over 7 years? And you see this a lot with the pioneers. Pioneers are never really rewarded throughout history. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that they aren't, but we can't just look at Caitlyn as this great white hype or great white hope. Like, there's been other good white players. Sabrina and them are really good. It's that Showtime element that they bring, and it's one play that really sticks out. And it wasn't even a Caitlyn assist per se. Her hit ahead pass to Kelsey Mitchell, where Kelsey Mitchell then catches it under the basket, whips it behind her back with the left hand, and Melissa Smith, I believe, is the recipient of that pass and lays it up. I was like, oh, that's Showtime. This is the WNBA version of Showtime Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Is what I thought when I seen that play. And it would be much better if someone like Sheryl Swoopes embraced Caitlyn. And it's never too late to fix it. She's like, if I say anything, it's wrong. No, when you say the wrong thing, it's wrong. Like, you could say the right things. It's not one of those things you can't say the right thing. Now, obviously, you're going to have people saying, oh, she kissing butt now, oh, the pressure. But how old are you, Cheryl? You got to be, are you 50 yet? Or right around it? Like, you can't be worried about what people say. At this stage, you're doing what you're doing because you want to do it. And if you're going to stand on it, it's fine, but the backlash is going to keep coming because Caitlyn is a person and a player who hasn't done anything to really anyone. I mean, when you talk about physical play on the court, You talk about the incident with Kennedy Carter. Okay, yeah, Caitlyn might have said something. You get little shoulder blocks here, and in the heat of the game, things happen. I'm all for physical play, so don't think I'm not thinking competitors should compete. It's just your tone on Caitlyn the entire time. Um, Monica has gone very quiet, since Caitlyn has pulled in front. All these other people who had Angel Reese as Rookie of the Year, who was right there in the conversation, right up until around All Star break. She was right there, and she's still in the conversation. Like I said, the conversation is just the people who are in the running for it. But Caitlyn has pulled away, and that's not a knock on Angel Reese. It's Caitlyn's plan. She's arguably been the best point guard in the whole association, since after the Olympic and All Star break. So that's no knock on nobody. She just has exceeded even my expectations for a good rookie season at this point. Now, Cheryl, as far as the Stephen A. Smith, Nancy Lieberman thing, I don't know. You did add another dynamic to the Nancy Lieberman conversation where you said you text her and said you got something to say to me. Then like she made it sound like she just picked up the phone and called, but you saying that you called her out and then she called, and so that would change a little bit of the dynamics. But I think the message people trying to get across, and let me say this isn't a reason for you and Nancy Lieberman to end your friendship. Like I think you guys should still be friends. I don't think you should end it behind something like this. Uh, I think when people sometimes they tell you something you don't want to hear or it don't feel good, it's probably the thing you need to hear. You got to be aware of people that's telling you right all the time. That's never good. Especially if it's someone who genuinely cares about you and has cared about you in the past and don't just come at you sideways. It's something to consider. Even if you initially lash out, go sit down, ponder on that, feel that, analyze that, and then go back to the drawing board and see what you can extract out of that that's constructive and helpful. Um, but man, I ain't here to bash you either. I want you to realize that without Caitlyn, this game ain't being pushed forward. And yeah, you probably didn't get all the rewards Caitlyn and Angel and some of the others is gonna get, especially with this new TV deal and all that. But without you and the other ladies, they don't even have the opportunity to do this. So this is a house you helped build. Don't try to tear it down. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.